Well, Shahir, thank you so much for helping with my project. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Nathan. This is me, Shaheer Rizvi. I am from Pakistan. Currently, I am serving as lecturer of entrepreneurship at Khwaja Farid University of Engineering and Information Technology, Rahimia Khan. Parallel to it, I am also pursuing my PhD in entrepreneurship from the Islamia University of Bahawalpur. Basically, I want to promote entrepreneurship in my area. That's why I also initiated my startup with name of Expert Solution. So this is my small introduction, which viewers can know that I am basically belongs to a education and academia and entrepreneurship.
What are some of the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurship do you see in Pakistan and with the people you work with?
Exactly, as you know that this era is, I consider it as an era of entrepreneurship that every country was want to build the economy very great, and the only thing which can convert the economy to great is the entrepreneurship. So here in Pakistan, our government is also working to promote entrepreneurship. They're also doing a great initiative to take business so people can start their business easily, and they are doing for ease of business. So yes, Pakistan has potential. If we consider about the tourism, there is a lot of potential of entrepreneurship. If we talk about the local our craft, so we have a great potential of entrepreneurship, and so we have a great potential.
And what are the biggest challenges you see with getting people to be entrepreneurs, to start a new business and something completely new? What's holding people back?
The biggest challenge is mindset. Unfortunately, I say that most of the people of Pakistan have mindset to take a government job. They don't want to take risk. They don't want to initiate something. So that was the biggest challenge to change the mindset. Now we are working very hard to change the mindset. Government take a lot of initiatives. Education institutes are taking a lot of initiatives in Pakistan. Now we are establishing business incubation centers, which a major step is to promote entrepreneurship and promote the ecosystem of entrepreneurship in the universities. So the students who are coming to get education must go towards entrepreneurship by starting their own businesses. The government are supporting, universities are supporting, faculty are supporting. Now the culture is becoming very friendly. So the entrepreneurship can raise in the country, and people not go for seeking jobs. They move towards producing jobs. So now with the time we are changing, but the main issue, the main challenge is the mindset.
And it seems to me that some success stories might help to change that mindset. Are there some individual stories that you like to tell about people who were entrepreneurs and were successful to try to help change and shift that mindset?
Sure. I will share my small story that before joining the lecturership at Khwaja Farid University, I was working as a regional head South Punjab with the project of Ministry of Education, where we want to change the mindset of people and want to change them as an entrepreneur. I used to train 320 different potential peoples who have pursued to pursue entrepreneurship. The major thing which I seen during my that career, that people only want to do some jobs. They only want to do job for only 10,000 Pakistan rupees, 20,000 Pakistan rupees. So they are not have a good dreams. But when we talk to them, then we train them. Then their mindsets change and they move towards entrepreneurship. Uh, I used to see the most of the people. One of a teacher who was earning only 10,000 rupees Pakistani for teaching, and after taking our training, after taking some extensive support, she converted herself as a teacher, as an entrepreneur, and established her own school and her own academy, and that's built her a very successful educational entrepreneur in the South Punjab in Bahawalpur. So we have a lot of stories that motivates our surroundings, that they motivate them to become an entrepreneur.
And what do you think is the biggest difference between being an entrepreneur inside of Pakistan versus in another country? Like, what is like the biggest advantage that Pakistan has, and Other than mindset, is there anything else in Pakistan that really causes a barrier?
Sir, I think so that everywhere when we talk about entrepreneurship, we have to take risks. So always when we talk about entrepreneurship, the main thing is that their inner qualities they want to achieve. So if we talk about Pakistan has a very great potential. Pakistan have a wonderful surface of land. Pakistan have wonderful opportunities, but unfortunately, people want to do some easy jobs. So now, with last 2 3 years, we've seen that people are now moving towards entrepreneurship. And if we compare to the other countries, I think Pakistan has more potential to become a successful entrepreneur. As we have a great human resource. If people become a skilled people, then the chances of entrepreneurship and the chances of successful entrepreneurs can raise. So there are challenges, but the major concept is that we have to believe in ourselves. If we want to become a champions.
Definitely, I couldn't agree with you more. There's some people that, regardless of what situation you put them in, they succeed, and there's other people, regardless of what situation you put them in, somehow they find a way not to succeed. So definitely, those personal qualities are key. Um, so one of my interests is around space exploration, and it kind of ties into. There's been some developments there that kind of tie into the entrepreneurial aspect as well. But I think first off, um, the last time we had people on the moon was in 1972. And since then, nobody's been beyond low Earth orbit. They've gone to like the International Space Station. They've just been in orbit and what have you. And NASA has plans to send people back to the moon in 2024. So only 4 years from now. I was wondering, have you heard about this?
I just heard about it by your post. Before your post and before your some social media post, I didn't know that NASA is planning. So I know about you. I know about this project by posting by seeing your post.
And what do you think about it?
It surprised me a lot, and it motivates me that to know more about space because this is a very long time that we are not seeing any projects like this, and this is something that will change the mindset of the people. People want to know more about it. What NASA is doing, how people go to the moon, how people go to the space. There's a lot of concern, a lot of questions are approaching in our minds. So this is very interesting topic, and we all want to know more about it. That what they are planning, how they will go, how they will survive, what was the future. So there are a lot of concerns and a lot of things that motivate us, and we want to know about it.
There's some people that see going back to the moon as being an essential thing that we need to do as a society in order to find out more about the universe, to figure out how to live beyond the Earth, to develop resources beyond the Earth in anticipation that at some point humanity's home will grow beyond just the Earth and will include the entire solar system. And there's other people that believe, you know, humanity is destined to only be on the Earth, and that our primary concern should be dealing with problems here, poverty, climate change, learning how to live with each other, this type of thing. And they see going to space as a distraction or something that is frivolous and unimportant. And then you have a whole bunch of people that are sort of in between those two viewpoints. Kind of, where would you, where would you be?
Sir, please repeat the question. I have some voice issue. I am unable to listen to you properly. Please repeat the question.
Sure. Do you see going to space as something that is essential for the future of humanity, or do you see it as something that's
Mhm.
optional that should be prioritized kind of second to the problems that we have here on Earth?
I think initially it will be optional. People are not very sure that there is a possibility to live over there. There are a lot of concerns, but eventually, I think there is a big chance that people will move towards it if the scientists do some great research and they make possible that people can live over there. As you mentioned, that the climate change and other activities in our Earth now forcing people that they move towards an other area that there is a no concerns about the weather, there is no concern about the terrorism also. They want to live a free life, they want to enjoy life. So I think our upper class, the elite class, might be considered it for their living. But if we talk about the our lower class, which have very difficulty for living, maybe they don't consider it, or maybe they don't know about it. So it will yeah, depend upon the preferences, but ultimately there is a very great potential, and I feel that in future there must be some great innovations and great news that people are going towards next destination, and they have another destination, another home in another space.
That's awesome. And if it was safe and affordable, would you have any interest in going into space?
Exactly. When we are very little, when we are a child, that we want to explore things. Even at that time, I always want to explore many things. So I think that might be my dream that I get an opportunity to visit something like that. That often people don't know about it, and most of the people I know that they consider that the last when they entered the moon, that they say that that was a fake news. Most there is some mindset. There are some people that who claims that that was a fake news. They only propaganda. But I want to visit myself to prove myself that there is a reality, and people can visit and people can land on the moon. So that's why I want to join this type of even if I get an opportunity.
And you talked about kind of like how some people believe that the moon landings back in 69 through 72 were somehow staged or didn't actually happen. And
Hmm.
I wonder what's like the motivation that is back, behind this thought. And I think for a lot of people, it's hard to imagine a society going backwards or losing a capability. That how did we have the capability in the end of the 1960s, beginning of 1970s, to go to the moon, and now we can't. Like how we don't want to believe that we can actually society could get worse, that we could become less capable. But that's true. That's every generation that's born is born completely ignorant, without any skills or knowledge or anything, and it's only our
Exactly.
ability to educate them and develop them that allows for society to continue.
And sir, it take a very long time, 1969 to today. It takes 30, 40 years. Then why no one else try to do the same experiment? Don't try to go again for on the moon. So there are a lot of concerns, lot of questions in people's mind. Because this long delay change their mindset that there might be there is some propaganda, or there might be some false news to promote something else. But in reality, we believe that they are the system, they are the surfaces, and if science grows and our system support us, then we have to explore other lands for development and for the development of science also.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Shahir, I really appreciate your time. Was there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
Yes, sure. I want to know more about your plan of 2020, 2022. So what are NASA plannings? Give me some details. Give me some short briefing so I can improve my knowledge.
Definitely. So the official NASA plan is they've been working on this huge rocket called the Space Launch System that's based upon a lot of the same technology that the space shuttle was based on. And they're planning to create a test launch of this vehicle in 2021 that will send an uncrewed capsule around the moon just to make sure everything works fine. And then in 2023, they plan to send it around with some astronauts. And then in 2024, they plan to have a system that it will be able to dock with that could then take the astronauts to the surface of the moon. And that system is being developed by private companies. There are
Okay.
three sets of private companies that are currently working on this human landing system. One is Jeff Bezos's, you know him from Amazon. He has a space company called Blue Origin.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
working with a set of other companies to create a human lander. And then there's another company called um, SpaceX, which is also working on a human lander. And then Dynetics is also trying to work on a human lander. So in 2024, the idea is that this human landing system will be put into orbit around the moon. The astronauts will take the space launch system and the Orion capsule to dock with it and land on the moon. So the problem though with that plan is that the space launch system and the Orion capsule have been significantly over budget and have taken a long time to build out. They should have already had test flights, which haven't happened.
Yeah.
But separately from this, Elon Musk from SpaceX is working on developing a huge, completely reusable space vehicle called the Starship. And it will be able to carry 100 people into space at a time and be completely reusable. It would allow for somebody to go, he plans to use it not only for space travel, but for Earth to Earth travel. You would be able to go from Pakistan to the US in 30 minutes on this vehicle.
30 minutes only.
Yeah. So you could come over, we could have lunch, and then you'd be back home before work started. Um,
A lot of my family members are living in America, in Chicago. Then I want to join the service
it,
to meet them. Another question. I have a question. Another that how much time it will take if we want to go from land to a moon? What their estimations? That how much time will it take to if they go from land to a moon?
yeah. So last time, whenever we sent astronauts to the moon, it took 3 days. You can go
3 days.
faster and get there as quick as you want to. The problem, though, is however fast you go, you have to be able to slow down that much. And in order to slow down that
Okay.
much, you need so much fuel. So, and if you don't slow down that much, you'll pass the moon and you keep on going forever. Uh,
Okay.
so,
Okay. Okay.
so you could go a lot faster, but it wouldn't be safe and it'd be a lot more expensive.
Fine, fine. And what their probability, what the scientists of NASA are thinking that is there possibility to that people who land at the moon can survive, and how much time they can survive, how much
Right.
long time they can survive.
Well, the moon's a really challenging place to live in. Space is very challenging. There's a lot of things about the Earth that protect us from the dangers of space. The sun is constantly sending out radiation, and then also there's galactic radiation coming from other places in the universe. And the Earth has a very powerful magnetosphere. So like the North and South poles, this is pushing out and protecting the Earth. The moon doesn't have a strong magnetic thing. The other thing is we have a very thick atmosphere. Between where you are and the top of the atmosphere, there's probably, 10, 20 feet of water above you between you and space. Now that water is, it, it's in clouds, it's in the air. You don't think of it as water, but that water is protecting you from the radiation of space. The people in the International Space Station, they don't get the benefit of the atmosphere, but they get the benefit of the Earth's magnetic sphere. But whenever you go beyond that, you're completely exposed to the radiation of space, and you have to learn how to protect yourself.
Okay.
And it could be very bad for you from a health standpoint. Genetic problems increases your incidence of cancer, things like this. So figuring out how to protect yourself from that radiation environment is going to be a big challenge. And I think a lot of people will have health issues until we figure it out. The moon has no
Okay.
atmosphere. You can't breathe on it. Also, the moon rotates every 28 days, which is also how often it goes
Mhm.
around the Earth. So the same face
Okay.
is always facing the Earth. But what that means is you have 14 days of sunlight on a place on Earth, on the moon, sorry, and 14 days of nighttime. And on the daylight side, you're talking about it being very, very hot, like 200 degrees Celsius. And on
Oh,
the night side, you're talking about it being very, very cold, like negative 200 degrees Celsius. So
fine, fine.
living on the moon requires having a self-contained environment that protects you from all this and that gives you the air and everything you need to survive.
Sir, I want to know one thing more. Most of the people believe that Earth is still, but Moon is moving around the Earth. They are the belief of some people. So they question scientists that how you can judge the rotation of a Moon or a rotation of Earth. So how can you answer these people?
Well, I guess the first thing is about collecting data. So what time does the sunrise come up every day? And what time does it
Yeah,
go down? Where in the sky do you see the sun? You know, and if you collect this for many different years, you'll see a pattern in terms of how the sun, in the summertime starts to move further and further north, and then the winter times moves further and further south, which corresponds to the Earth on a tilted axis going around the sun and as it's revolving. Um,
yeah,
the important thing, so some people believe there's this whole flat earth society people
yeah, yeah.
now the thing though is that the data is overwhelming for it not to be a flat earth. Just look at commercial air travel. um, how come you can make little bitty hops all the way around the world? There should be some place where, like, to go from Japan to you know, um, uh, someplace else like Los Angeles would take more time than it would take to go from Japan to Los Angeles the other direction, But um, that's not, I mean, if you just look at the way the air travel is, it has to be round. And if you look at a boat that's going out to sea, the bottom part disappears before the top part does.
Exactly.
So there's lots of obvious evidence. And I think this goes to show you that it's very possible for people to have ideas that there's no basis for in reality, but they cling on to these ideas regardless of what they are shown. And it's impossible to really have a constructive type of society that, you know, has people like that. It's like we have
Hmm.
to be able to convince each other of what's right and what's wrong. And if we
Exactly,
can't,
exactly.
if we can't use facts and arguments to do that, then how will we find out the truth?
Wonderful. Listen, I love to talk to you. It was a very great session for me, a very informative session for me. I also request you to give me some literature to please some link for me so I read more about this project so that I can help to create better understanding about this project so I can talk to my neighbors, my friends, my students so that would be very great for me. So I love to have some links or some PDF file or some literature so I get better knowledge about it.
I'll definitely send you some links, and I can send you more than you want.
Yeah,
So that we got a lot of good
yeah.
stuff.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Very
Thank you.
great meeting with you. Thank you, sir. Thank
Good
you.
meeting you too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.